WA2. Yeah, yesterday I just said. Yeah, of course. Okay, I just said WA2 already, so it's set in stone already. All the questions are all set in stone already, alright? So 3 chapters to be tested, just get ready for it, alright? So try 8, okay? Factorize 2x cubed minus x squared minus 4x plus 3 completely, okay? Now, when they say factorize completely means you must factorize until you cannot factorize anymore. Now, we all know how to factorize cubic, right? Cubic, we can either use our ladder method, we can use your tic-tac-toe method, whatever method you want to be able to factorize. But for this method, there is only one method that is approved, okay? But you can cheat a little bit, okay? The first step is guess and check, okay? Because when we try to, I try to get you guys to understand, when we try to factorize completely, what we are trying to do is to think of what are the 3 possible factors. Means, for example, this is like x plus, I don't know, x plus 3, x plus 2, 2x minus 1, something like that. Okay, we are trying to break it up into the 3 different factors. Of course, this is not the answer. Okay, so we often have to guess and check the very first factor. We cannot, it's impossible for us to guess and check all 3 factors. That's ridiculous. Okay? But we can guess and check the first factor. And one of the ways that we can help you, even though I say you cannot use a calculator, as in you cannot use the calculator to get the answer, but you can use the calculator to quickly get you the first factor. Okay, you can use the calculator to quickly get you the first factor. Okay, what does it mean? It means that if you enter this in the calculator, and how are you going to enter this in the calculator? For those who use the calculator, this calculator, you can go and press menu 5 polynomial. Okay, menu 5 polynomial, you're going to click degree 3. Let me put it up here, so on record, so if you are blurred next time, you can just refer to this. Okay, so you're going to go to menu 5 polynomial, degree. This is a degree 3, so you're going to press 3, don't press 2. I know you guys are very used to pressing 2. Okay, so once you are here, let me take out the question because I very short-term memory. Okay, so here we have the factorized 2x cubed minus x squared minus 4. So our A, the first one is a 2. Okay, so I'm going to enter this as 2, I'm going to press equals, and negative 1. Okay, and negative 4, and lastly I have a positive 3. Okay, when I press enter, okay, I notice that I have several factors. I have one factor is negative half, I have 1, okay, I have negative half and 1. Obviously I'm going to choose the nicer one, right? Why make your life so difficult? Always choose your nicer one. Now, let's go back to here. Now, if I know that the solution is x is equals to 1, what do you think is the factor? Is x plus 1 the factor? Because that is the common mistake when you use the calculator. Many of you will say, oh, therefore, because x is equal to 1, then x plus 1 is a factor. Is it? No. Okay? Remember how do you get the factors? You bring this over here, you're going to get x. If you want to work backwards, x minus 1 is equals to 0. Okay, so we can try, but of course don't use this and say therefore x minus 1 is a factor. Okay, how do we prove it? Okay, I'm going to show you the full working on how you should write it. Alright, so how you should write it is you know that x minus 1 is a solution. So what you're going to do, this is a function, this is the function fx. You are going, nah, it's okay, don't worry, it was only like one word. Okay, x is equals to 1, so we are going to substitute in. Okay, we are going to substitute in 1 inside here. Okay, so when we substitute 1 inside here, we are going to get 1 squared minus 4, 1 plus 3. We're going to get 0. Now, when we get 0, what does it tell us?
There's no remaining.
Therefore, x minus 1 is a factor. Now, you must show me this working. Ladies and gentlemen, you must show me this working. If you do not show me this working, you should always say this, you will get 0. Okay? You will get 0. Because you cannot say, oh, I used the calculator. No, calculator is not a proof method. I repeat again, it is not an approved method. You must use guess and check. Okay, but you can use the calculator to fake your guess and check. Okay, so you must be very clear about these things. Yes?
Can I run like this?
Can. Can. I think this one acceptable. Okay, but I need to see this working, and then you say therefore this one is a factor. Okay, once you know that this is a factor, what's the next step? Yeah, long division, absolutely. Alright? So we are going to do long division because we know it's a factor. Let us do long division. Make sure that all the powers are in descending powers. Alright, so I have x minus 1 over here. So let's go and divide. Okay, how do I make this x 2x cubed? Obviously, I need to multiply by 2x squared. So I'm going to do that to every single term. So it will be minus 2x squared. Let's minus this. Minus plus 2. Plus 2 just gives me x squared minus 4x plus 3. The next one is a positive x. So I'm going to get x squared minus x. Let's minus this out. So I'm going to get negative 3x plus 3. And of course the final one is just negative 3. And this cancels out nicely. Alright. So I know that this factorization is going to be x minus 1 times 2x squared plus x minus 3. Okay? So I know it's going to be like this after you do your long division. Okay, I'm going a little bit faster. Okay, because time is really running out. I don't want to drag this on any further. Today we are going to end partial fractions and that's it. Okay, next week onwards. Okay, tomorrow we only have one period. That one period will be used for your FK. Okay, for compound interest. Okay, so technically today is the end of this week of math. Yes, Gabriel.
How many months is there?
Don't need to worry about that. Okay, don't worry about that. So what you should worry about is chapter 3. Everything in chapter 3. Okay? So here basically what you need to do, factorize. Okay, you can use your crisscross method. You can crisscross method, so you have your 2x squared minus 3 plus x. 2x, x. Let's say I have a 3, 1 cross multiply. 2x, 3x. How do I get positive? Here is positive, here is negative. Okay, so the factorized form, the factorized form here is going to be 2x plus 3, x minus 1. Alright, so this is the completely factorized form. I repeat again, this question is very, very important. The first step, use your calculator, find out what numbers do you need to guess and check. Okay? Then therefore conclude that something is a factor. After you have done that, do long division and then factorize the rest. Okay, do long division and then you factorize the rest. Yes, how many marks? Good question. Usually, I would say this top one is about 3 marks. The bottom one will be about 5 marks. So you'll be 8 marks. And then you must know why your paper is 140. So if you don't know how to do this question, gone case. 8 marks out of 40 gone. But if you know how to do this question, which is actually not too difficult, you just need to use calculator, guess and check, do long division. Okay? Then you should be able to get the full marks. Alright? Okay. Now that we have factorized, often this is always linked to a hence. How are we going to partial fraction this? Okay, how are we going to partial fraction this? Okay? Now the first thing that we are going to do is we notice that the degree, okay, the degree here and the degree here is the same. Okay? Now if the degree is the same, that means that we have to do long division again. Oh no. Okay, so we have to do long division again. So let us quickly do long division. Okay, but this one, the long division is actually not that bad. In fact, it's only one step only. Okay, trust me, just do it. It's only one step only. 6x cubed minus 5x squared minus 19x plus 28. I'm going to long division by 2x cubed minus x squared minus 4x plus 3. Alright? So here, I realize that I have a 2. Oops. I have a 2 here. I want to get a 6. So obviously, I need to multiply by 3. So let's multiply everything by 3. 6x cubed minus 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. Let's subtract this whole thing. So if you do subtract this whole thing, you're going to get negative 2x squared minus 7x minus 19. Okay, so like I said, this long division is not too bad. It's only one step only. Okay, only one step only. But the next step, okay, the next step, after you do long division, what's next? Yes? Oh, is it plus 19? Let me see. Yeah. It's plus 19. Yeah, it's plus 19. Okay? This one is, yeah, because it's minus ma. 28 minus 9 gives me positive 19. Okay? Wait, I have to see Yeah, correct. 28 minus 9, that gives you positive 19. Okay? What is the next step? After you have gotten all these out of the way, what is the next step? Okay? You need to express these whole fractions. Okay? This whole fraction, I'm going to rewrite it down. You don't have to rewrite it down, but I think sometimes it's a lot clearer. Okay, so I'm going to write it in this way. Divided by, now this denominator, have we already factorized it earlier? We have, right? So we know that this thing is this thing. I'm going to just cheat a little bit. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, by an exam, of course, you can't do that. Okay, so I know that this whole thing is the same as the above. And this whole thing is equals to what? When I divide this thing by this, which is the same as this, that is equals to the answer, which is the quotient. So it's equals to 3. Plus the remainder. The remainder is negative 2x squared minus 7x plus 19 divided by the divisor, which is basically a divisor. I'm going to write it in the factorized form. Alright? Okay, we are almost done already. Okay, I know some of you say, wow, partial fractions, the working is really long. I agree, it's really very long. Okay, but if you do it step by step, you will be okay. Okay, you will be okay. Now, generally, the A-Math exams there's only going to be about 5, maximum maybe 6 questions. Okay, in a 1 hour paper. So there's more than enough time. Each question gives you about 10 minutes to complete. Okay, some questions you can complete as fast as 2-3 minutes only. So you have about 15 minutes to even do this question. Okay, so there is time. Alright, so what is next? I have broken it down into this thing, but the question actually states that you want to represent this in a partial fraction. So how are we going to represent this thing in a partial fraction? We must look at the denominator. Now this denominator is 3 different unique factors. Okay, 3 different, oh no, it's not, it's repeated. My apologies. Can you see that there is 2x minus 1? Okay, so here let me simplify this. Because there is 2x minus 1, I can actually write this as this. Okay, so I correct myself, they are not unique. I have a repeated root over here. I have a repeated factor. Okay? Now, why is it important for me to write this down as a repeated factor? Because I know that in the end, if I want to express this thing, this whole thing is going to be in the form of A over the 2x plus 3 plus B over x minus 1 plus C over x minus 1 squared. Okay? I know that if eventually when I break this down into partial fractions, this is the format that I am going to take. Okay, this is the format that I'm going to take. So one last step to go to find your A, B, and C. Okay, you will multiply both sides by the denominator. Okay, you will multiply both sides by denominator. So what will you get? You will get negative 2x squared minus 7x plus 19 is equals to A x minus 1 square plus B x minus 1 2x plus 3 plus C x 2x plus 3. Alright? So you will get this. Anyone confused at this stage? Okay? Anyone's confused at this stage? Okay, today is the last day of partial fractions really. Okay, and this question is very important. Alright, so you really must get it. Okay, so once we get until this stage, our goal is to find out what is A, B, and C. But don't be scared off by this because like I told you, there is a trick to it. We can make all the other terms disappear. Okay, let's take a look. What can we make disappear? If I choose x to become 1, you notice that this disappears. This will disappear as well. What remains behind is only c. So let's do that first. Okay, so I'm going to let x, when x is equals to 1. Okay, so when x is equals to 1, my left hand side over here, negative 2 minus 7. So I'll get negative 2 minus 7 plus 19. I'm going to get 10. Okay, I'm going to get 10 is equals to, this whole thing will disappear, this whole thing will also disappear. Hey, did I hear? Huh? Why do I choose x to be 1? Because I want this to disappear, right? I want this to disappear. Then only c remains, right? Only c remains. So if I substitute 1 here, I'm going to get c, 2 plus 3 gives me 5. So 10 is equals to 5c. Oh, I wonder what could c be? C is 2. Okay, so c is 2. Okay, so it isn't that difficult. Now the next thing that we can probably try, okay, the next thing we can probably try is what could we get rid of next? Okay, what could we actually possibly get rid of next? Okay, I could probably try to get rid of this c over here, but I'll put this one not so intuitive, right? This one is 2x plus 3. So what must my x be such that this whole thing becomes 0? If you stay very long and you don't know, then it's okay. You know, you just make yourself an equation. Okay? What is make yourself an equation? Means 2x plus 3. How do I make it 0? Because you want to make this thing 0, right? So you solve it. 2x equals to negative 3. Oh, x is equals to 3 over 2. Okay, you say, oh, okay, so my x must be negative 3 over 2. Now, when x is equals to negative 3 over 2, which is 1.5, what will disappear? You need to be very clear into what will disappear. Right? Will this disappear? Absolutely not. Will this disappear? Yes, this whole thing will disappear. This whole thing will disappear. So what remains is only a. Okay? So you're going to just substitute it inside. So when x is equals to negative 1.5, let's work this out. Negative 2 times negative 1.5 squared minus 7 times negative 1.5 plus 19. Okay, so I'm going to get 25 is equals to a negative 1.5 minus 1 whole thing squared. Okay, so I'm going to get 6 and 6.25. Okay, so therefore A is equals to 25 divided by that. I'm going to get 4. Alright, I'm going to get 4. Now, the last one. How am I going to find? I already found A, I already found C, but how am I going to find B? That means if I want to find B, I need to get rid of both A and C, but it is impossible. Okay, there is no number I can substitute in such that I can get rid of A and C. Now, that comes in the next trick. You already know the value of A and C. So means this, you know. This, you also know. So technically, the only thing you don't know is B. But to make your life simpler, what should you substitute in? 0. 0 is the easiest, right? Correct? If I substitute in 0, this thing will disappear. I'm only get with 19. Right? So when x is 0, my left hand side is just going to be 19 is equals to A. A is 4. 4 times x. X is 0. Negative 1 squared is just 1. So 4. So plus. This is 0. So negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 gives me negative 3b. Right, so here I'm going to get negative 3b. C is 2. 2 times 3 gives me 6. Voila! Don't you see that here you can already find what is B? Okay? You just need to be very calm, very zen. Just do step by step. Don't keep over worrying, say that, you know, this working is going to be very long, I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to make a lot of careless mistakes, okay? You just got to clear your mind, do step by step, and you will be okay. Okay? Everything's going to be alright. Okay, so here, I'm going to get 9 is equals to negative 3b, so therefore b is equals to negative 3. Okay? So if you substitute in back into the green one, okay, your answer, your final answer, I'm going to write the final answer here for you guys to check. Okay, your final answer is going to be 3 minus 3 over x minus 1 plus 2 x minus 1 square plus 4 2x plus 3. Okay, so this is how you express this whole thing in partial fractions. This is your final answer. Okay, this is your final answer. Can? Okay. I only have like a few minutes left. Let me choose my battles. Oh no, it doesn't matter. A plus B is the same as B plus A. Okay, the order doesn't matter. Alright, let me choose my battles. Okay, let's quickly go to work example number 9. Yes. Hey, all these will be uploaded. Okay, all these were uploaded into your Google Classroom. Okay? So if you are lagging behind, anything, right, please over the weekend go and watch it again. Okay? Go and watch it again. Okay, for everyone, can you go on to the next question? Work example number 9. I have to end my battle over here. That means, try 10, I will record for you. You go back and watch it. Okay? Because I don't want to spend too much time on it. Okay? So I'm going to go through work example number 9 very quickly with you. This one don't need to do long division because you can see that this is a proper fraction. Right? The degree on the top is of degree 1. Degree at the bottom is of degree 3. So there is no need for me to do long division. But what is this? Can you see that this is an irreducible factor? Irreducible factor means that I have it as a quadratic. I cannot factorize it anymore. Okay? Now, what form can you factorize? Only if it's of this form. Okay, if it's minus, you can factorize. Why? Because we can factorize it as x minus 2, x plus 2. But if it's a plus, you cannot factorize anymore. Got it? Okay, if it's a plus, you cannot factorize it anymore into a very nice factor. Okay, so we call this an irreducible factor. Now, if this is the irreducible factor, this whole thing, 7x plus 2, x squared plus 4, x minus 2, this is a very nice factor. This will be split into a x minus 2. What about this irreducible factor? Okay, what about this irreducible factor? Remember one thing. You notice that the coefficient, the numerator is always 1 degree less than the denominator. So if this is of degree 1, we realize that this is just a constant, a. But if I have the denominator as a quadratic, then the numerator is going to be a linear, okay, in the form of mx plus c. But of course we don't write mx plus c, bx plus c. Okay? This is the last type. When you have an irreducible, is bx plus c. Why is it irreducible? Irreducible means you cannot factorize anymore nicely. How you factorize nicely? Jordan, how are you going to factorize this? Is it this? Is it this? Tell me, is it this?
Oh wait, no, it's not minus.
Tell me, is it this? No, that's why I just said it's not minus. Okay, so once you get into this form, very simple. The next step is also very simple. Just multiply both sides by the denominator. 7x plus 2 equals to a, x squared plus 4 plus bx plus c multiplied by x minus 2. Okay, so same thing. How do I find the value of a? I can get rid of this thing. by choosing a value of x. So when x is equals to 2, I substitute 7 times 2 plus 2. This whole thing will give me 2 squared plus 4 gives me 8. This whole thing will become 0. This whole thing will become 0. Alright? So 7 times 2 gives me 14. 16 is equals to 8a. Therefore, a is equals to 2.
And no way.
Okay, a is equals to 2. Okay, next, how do I know a is equals to 2, how do I even find what is b and c? Okay, this one, unfortunately, if you want to think about it, you need to be very careful. For irreducible one, there's often a strategy. You can get rid of b simply by letting x be 0. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you can try. When x is 0, what happens? This easy. This one just becomes, the left hand side just becomes 2. A you already know is 2 times 4. Right? B will become 0. So you are just left with C times negative 2. So therefore, you solve everything out. Your C is going to be 2 equals to 8 minus 2c. So negative 6 is equals to negative 2c. Your c is going to be 3. Okay? So now you already know what is your c. The only thing you don't know is just your b. But you already know your a, you already know your c. So the last step, just let x be any other number. Other than 0, what is the next easiest number to substitute? 1? Yeah, correct. Alright? So when x is equals to 1, just do the yada yada yada, and then you will get the answer. Okay? Eventually you're going to get b as negative 2. Okay? I will record this. Okay? Your job, and this is not the only homework. Okay? Your homework is to finish this example 9 and 10. Okay? Example 9 and 10, I'll record.